everybody. Welcome to Let's Get Financially Fit, Budgeting, Credit, and Other Tips. I'm Brooks Benjamin, Marketing Manager here at Liberty Bank and Trust, and I'm here with
Joanne Smith. I'm in Business Development Sales. I've been with Liberty Bank for 40 years.
Hi, I'm Maria A. Newman Career, Business Development Sales Manager and Banking Officer at Liberty Bank and Trust with 9 years of experience.
So we are super excited to have y'all here with us today. The goal for today is to equip you with the knowledge and skills you need to better manage your finances and ensure your financial future. So we're going to get started with what exactly is budgeting. So what is budgeting, y'all? What we hear about it a lot. So can y'all tell me just a little bit about what it is?
So I think when I think of budgeting, I think of it as a guide to keep us on the path to reach our financial goals. And you can look at budgeting in three ways. What you think, Ms. Jo? You have short-term goals, you have medium-term goals, and you have long-term goals, right? Mm-hmm. And those short-term goals could include if you need to purchase a laptop or if you need to, borrow money, as it relates to buying books. Your medium goals would be, a car, something to that effect. And then your long-term goals you would kind of look at as it relates to investments, like buying a house. Those are considered long-term goals.
So what would be some challenges that people may face when they are trying to have a budget or maintain their budgeting?
I think I call it going into something in the blind, where you don't make a plan, where you don't know how much you make a month, what comes off the top, and you're just flying by the seat of your pants. So that's why it's important to start with knowing how much is coming in, what needs to go out, and then, as Maria would say, your play money.
Oh, yeah.
Gotta have like to play money.
Yeah.
I like to play.
Yeah.
So where would somebody start if they wanted to start like writing down their budget? What would be a good place to start?
I think the first thing that you need to do is going back to why we're calling this getting financially fit. I think you need to make this a part of your everyday routine. The same way that you wake up, the same way you meditate, the same way you drink your coffee is the same way you need to take time out of your day to really talk or really understand where your money is going and what monies you have coming in. So a good place to start is what you just said, whether it's journal writing. We have a great spreadsheet that we'll tell them about later that literally lays out the whole month. And then you talk about your income, how much you're spending. So it's little tips like that. But I really think people need to make this a part of their everyday way of life.
It's almost like exercising. Yeah. Excuse me, Brooks. It's almost like exercising where your body starts to crave it. Mm-hmm. So if you get in the habit of writing everything down, every single thing down, it'll help you stay on budget.
Yep, and just really being intentional about sticking to what your goals are for the future, and you'll be able to reach them. So the next thing I want to kind of go through is credit cards. So credit cards are all kind of looked at negatively because when you have too much credit card debt, you feel like you're kind of drowning in debt. So can you tell us what is the purpose of credit cards and are they really as bad as we think they are?
A credit card is something that you would use to make a purchase when you're not using cash. So you would pay back that amount that you purchased plus whatever the interest rate is. The bad part of it is the interest rate. If you had a credit card like Liberty Bank offers, which is 9.96, that's an excellent interest rate. Mm-hmm. But you can, depending on your credit, get a high credit card interest where you're just making a purchase and just paying interest every month. What do you think, Maria?
So I think what is important is going back to what we've always talked about is that budget. And I like the idea of, when I first came here, Ms. Jo would always explain to me, like, I use my credit card for emergency purposes. And I think that's what we need to remember. We live in a city, unfortunately, hurricane season is upon us. And so with that, we need to be mindful of our spending. And we also need to be mindful of the purpose of the credit card. So it's all about getting into a habit. And if you know that at any given moment, you might have to evacuate, or at any given moment, there is an emergency, because we do have emergencies in our daily lives, You just want to make sure that you're using your credit card and paying it down appropriately, because those things will help you, one, keep good credit, and number two, will also help you keep that low interest as low as 9.96%.
That's correct.
So as far as credit scores, how does your credit card and your credit payments tie into your credit score?
Ooh.
Okay, a credit score, you can have a very low credit score. Your interest will be extremely high. And as I stated before, you'll make this major purchase. Say, for instance, you're purchasing a big screen TV and you're purchasing it at $1,000 and your interest rate is 24.9. Every monthly payment would go to interest and nothing would go to principal. But if you have a good credit score, I would say anything over 650 and above, well then that's your lifeline. I always like to say your credit score is definitely your lifeline. That will enable you to have a lower interest rate where when you're making those monthly payments, mostly everything is going to principal.
Yeah. And the other thing we also probably need to know about credit scores is what goes into getting that score. What does that look like, right? So we have to remember on-time payments helps you with your credit score. We have to remember keeping your credit cards to a minimum. They normally like to see 2 credit cards, whether it's an American Express or a Visa or a MasterCard or a Discover and a Visa, whatever that combo is, that's fine. Gas card, it's okay, and a Lowe's or a Home Depot card is fine. When you start getting into your Macy's card, they look at that as third party. When you start getting into your rooms to go finances, that's third party. And so what happens is you're getting caught up in the fact that you're trying to get these rewards, and what you're not doing, what you're not realizing is that your credit score is being calculated as high risk because you might be holding or having high balances on all of these credit cards, and you're only paying minimums, which goes back to what Ms. Joe said. Basically, what you're only paying is the interest and not a lot towards your principal. So the key to your credit score is truly understanding what's going to help, what could hinder. I understand that we're in a debit and credit card society, but I truly still believe that cash is king. So where you can put yourself on a budget, Brooks, I'm going to always go back to budgeting. Put yourself on a budget, take money out that you know that you can say, you know what, this is my spending money for the week. And then once you go through that money, that's it. Now, if you don't have access to the cash, then just have it in your mind. I can only spend so much on my debit card or credit card. I'll pay it off at the end, or I'll pay myself back, and then you keep it going. But like, you have to remember what goes into your credit score and hold it close to you, and if at all possible, try not to share or co-sign on anything that you don't know that the person can afford to pay it back. That is key too.
So we all make credit mistakes. I know every time I go to TJ Maxx, they offer me a TJ Maxx credit card and I'd be this close to getting it. So if someone has made a credit mistake, like have a Macy's card or a TJ Maxx card and all these store cards, what are some good ways for them to kind of improve their credit?
Well, one, the best thing that they can do is probably look at what is the oldest credit they had. That's what you don't want to get rid of that.
Okay,
right?
Keep the oldest
Keep
credit.
the oldest. If you've been having a credit card, and I'm just going to really say this, bless my mom, but she helped me to get it. But I've been having my one credit card since 1992.
Wow.
So, and I'm not getting rid of it anytime soon, right? So you want to keep your oldest. Also, you want to, a credit card game, the credit card game is there. It's out there, right? And so we love our credit card because we have as low as 9.96%. But we also understand that there's credit cards out there that offer rewards. Then look into that. You can have a Liberty card and then have another credit card that might have the reward that you want, whether it's, frequent flyer miles, whether it's you get cash back, whatever that looks like, figure out how that works. And don't get caught up in your Macy's, because you got to realize you have one, a low interest rate credit card, and then you have another credit card that's giving you rewards. So do you really need the extra 20% from Macy's?
And those store cards have higher interest
Much
rates
higher
than most credit cards too. So you're going to wind up paying more. Yeah, you might save 20% when you open up a TJ Maxx card. See, I even know the spiel. But in the long run, you're going to be paying more because that interest rate is probably close to 30%.
And
Exactly.
one way to get out of, if you do have all of those credit cards, is to do a balance transfer to a lower interest rate credit card, which is Liberty Bank.
Yep.
And we can do a balance transfer at 9.96 and then get rid of.
And it's free too. It's a free balance transfer that we offer. So
Correct.
Yep.
Correct.
So now that we've kind of went through credit and credit cards, how can people see what's even on their credit report and to know what's out there?
Yeah, so the good thing is you have access to your credit reporting every year. So you get one free credit report. And the key is you can contact Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax directly, asking for a copy of your credit report, and you will understand what actually your car company, your mortgage loan company, what they are seeing. A lot of you guys are asking questions about, apps as it relates to getting your credit score. It is important that you go to the original three. Go to your Experian, your TransUnion, and your Equifax. And the great thing is now these three have apps. So they must have heard the cattle call saying, all right, guys, let's get into the game. So they're the ones who kind of dictate, how or what is being seen on your credit report.
And just to kind of piggyback off of Credit Karma and all of those apps, they'll offer you credit cards as well. And the interest rates are off the map. It's like, I had 24.9 in the 30s.
Really?
So you have to really, really be careful with that. Yeah.
Yep. So now let's go back to this play money we talked about earlier. Because, it's fun to budget and be serious. But, we want to play a little bit. Like our slogan says, we work hard and we play hard.
Absolutely.
So how can we balance our financial responsibilities with our social life?
Ooh,
I think
that's a good one.
getting back to budgeting and planning and writing things down, you have to pay the necessary things first, see what's left, and then see how much you can play with. Your house note, your utility bills, tuition bills, all of those type things. And if you do that budget and write everything down, and then you say, well, okay, I have this left over, I can go to the games this weekend. I can go on trips or vacation or whatever. But budgeting is a big part of reaching that play goal. Is what I call it.
Yeah, and I also think that we have to also be mindful of things. And so a wise person once told me about, we have these 5 tips, right? I think you need to limit yourself to cash on hand. And I know that's really, really hard for people, but the thing is, it is so easy to go into your wallet and just pick and swipe, and you're losing track. I'm still from the generation that, you used to register everything that you used the check for and the credit card for. You're like, I got to go to my registry, got to write that down. And then you realize I overspent it, and here comes that overdraft fee. Yeah, so those days are kind of like antiquated, but we have to train our mind, just like we train our body for certain things, we have to train our mind. So I think you really need to look at keeping cash on hand. I think you also need to have a game plan. I think you really need to understand, what is my goal? What is the end goal in all of this? Whether that is, I need to upgrade my laptop, or it is I'm grown now, I need to buy a house. Whatever that is, I think you really need to understand your game plan. I also think you need to know what your needs are. Going back to what Ms. Joe said, yes, whether it's rent, whether it's paying utilities, paying your car note, you know what your needs are. Once you line that up with the income that you have coming in, that should really be able to tell you if you have that play money to go with. And then sometimes you need a reality check. The reality is, I can't afford it. Right.
I can't afford
a $22 martini. Girl, a $22 martini, that's killing me every day. Woo! That's why I go to happy hour. But we'll talk about that later. That's another podcast. All right. Or 75 cents. I'm not going to tell you what that one is. All right. So sometimes you really do need to have a reality check. And then the last thing I would say that is to me very important, you need to have real friends in your circle.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
If you have real people around you, real people are not afraid to pull you by your collar and say, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? This is a little too over the top. Like, that is, to me, some key. That's 5 good tips I think we can
Yeah, that's really good tips. So I think, and also Liberty has a lot of resources available to people when they're looking at managing their finances and their play money. One is that I use probably every day is the Liberty Bank app. Like when I'm shopping, I'm pulling up the app to see how much money I have. And then I also have alerts. Like I set, if I spend over $100, I get an alert to my phone saying you spent, over $100 and, slow down, next time you go to the store. Another good resource that we have, and we'll put a QR code on the screen for you to scan, but it's our financial wellness portal. So you can sign up for this portal for free. It's a partnership that we have with Enrich. It's called Our Money Matters. And if you sign up on this portal, you can take a money personality quiz. You can download a free budgeting workshop. There's all kind of articles, videos, resources, anything you could think of. You can put in what your goals are. So if your goals are home ownership, if your goals are retirement, if your goals are starting a family, if you want to get married, take a vacation, you put in your goals in that money personality quiz, and it will direct you to all of the resources and things that you need to achieve whatever that goal is. And so, like I said, we'll have the QR code on the screen for you to scan and go on that and sign up for that today. I think that is a awesome resource that we have available. Any other suggestions?
I think the other thing too that, and I know Ms. Jo is going to jump in, is that the key to all of this is truly establishing a relationship with the bank.
That's right.
Specifically, this bank, Liberty Bank and Trust, 50 years and counting. But all jokes aside,
$1 billion bank.
There you go. All jokes aside, we really should be looking at establishing a relationship. Ms. Jo and I are here. We have another counterpart, Ashley Mogillis. So we're your business development managers. We can help you out from beginning to end, whether that's understanding what the products and services are that we have at Liberty Bank and Trust, to trying to help you to understand what the next goals are, whether you want to do a debt consolidation, whether you want to buy a home, or if you are like many of our customers, if you're an entrepreneur and you need to do a small business loan or a commercial loan, Liberty Bank is really here for you and really here to grow your business.
And we love developing relationships, personal relationships. All of the banks have the technology, but we're still one of those banks that love personal
And you can
relationships.
pick up the phone and talk to a real person.
Yes.
Not
at any time. Yeah.
Well, yeah, really, anytime, honestly.
If you got a cell phone, you call me.
Well, thank y'all so much for joining us today. We have definitely covered a lot of information, and this is only the tip of the iceberg. So we'll be coming back to you with more information, more tips on credit, buying a house, budgeting. But before I let y'all go, make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you'll get alerts when we upload our next videos. And definitely go to www.libertybank.net and learn more about all of the financial products that we offer. So thank you again, and I hope all of y'all have a great day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.